Welcome to National Eyes. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a historic decision, the Supreme Court dismantled President Trump's controversial tariff regime, reshaping presidential power and sending shockwaves through global markets. The ruling concludes a battle between American businesses and the government, allies, and the judiciary. Trump's tariffs, once seen as protective, now lie in legal ruins, with potential refunds exceeding $100 billion. This isn't just about trade, it's about constitutional limits, the economy's future, and America's global identity. For many, tariffs have been an invisible tax, raising prices on everyday goods. The Supreme Court's judgment holsters this weapon, leaving the nation to ponder what happens now. This pivotal moment will redefine the economic landscape for a generation. To truly understand the significance of today's Supreme Court ruling, we need to look back at the roots of the Trump administration's controversial tariff strategy. This story begins not just with a single president, but with decades of evolving U.S. trade policy and the legal tools at a president's disposal. At the heart of this saga is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA, passed by Congress in 1977. Originally, IEPA was designed to give the president broad authority to respond quickly to extraordinary threats from abroad, like terrorism or hostile foreign governments, by restricting trade or freezing assets. But over time, the scope of IEPA expanded. When Donald Trump took office, he used this law in a way few had anticipated, to address what he saw as unfair trade practices and massive trade deficits, especially with China, but also with other major trading partners like Mexico and the European Union. Tariffs were imposed on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods, sparking global reactions and retaliatory measures. This aggressive approach was branded as a full-scale trade war under the banner of America First. The administration argued that these tariffs would revive American manufacturing, protect jobs, and restore the country's industrial might. The impact was felt across nearly every sector of the U.S. economy, from steel and aluminum to electronics, automobiles, and agriculture. American companies and workers found themselves at the center of a global economic storm. President Trump repeatedly claimed that billions of dollars were flowing into the U.S. Treasury as a result of these tariffs, framing them as a win for American taxpayers and a blow to foreign competitors, especially China. However, most economists pushed back, pointing out that tariffs are essentially taxes on American importers. These costs are often passed down the supply chain, ultimately raising prices for U.S. consumers and businesses. The debate over tariffs became a defining feature of Trump's presidency. Supporters saw them as a necessary tool to level the playing field, while critics blamed them for rising inflation, higher consumer prices, and widespread supply chain disruptions that left store shelves empty and businesses scrambling. In this tense and uncertain environment, American businesses, trade groups, and legal experts began to question whether the president had overstepped his legal authority. Lawsuits were filed, challenging the use of IEPA for trade disputes, rather than true national emergencies, and demanding clarity on the limits of executive power. The Supreme Court's ruling today is a direct response to these challenges. It reasserts Congress's constitutional authority over trade policy, raising important questions about how far a president can go in using emergency powers to reshape the global economy. The economic tension and legal ambiguity of the past several years have now culminated in a historic legal showdown, with business leaders, lawmakers, and the courts all playing pivotal roles. The Supreme Court's decision marks a pivotal turning point in U.S. trade policy, setting new boundaries for presidential power and shaping the future of American economic strategy. The legal battle reached the Supreme Court, focusing on whether IEPA allowed Trump to impose tariffs. Importers argued it didn't, as the Constitution grants Congress taxing power. Justices questioned the administration's stance, with Justice Sotomayor stating, "Tariffs are taxes." Even Trump-appointed justices doubted the policy's legality, with Justice Barrett highlighting the refund chaos. Justice Alito warned of endless litigation if new legal avenues were pursued. Despite Trump's public pressure, the court focused on constitutional text. The ruling against the administration underscores the separation of powers. The decision challenges the foundation of Trump's tariff policy. The Supreme Court's decisive ruling declared Trump's tariffs unlawful, reaffirming Congress's taxing authority. The reaction split the nation. Opponents celebrated a victory for law and consumers, while Trump supporters decried judicial activism. The White House condemned the decision, warning of economic threats from foreign imports. This division highlights deeper cultural and political rifts exposed by the tariff debate. For some, tariffs symbolized reckless policy. For others, they defended American jobs. The ruling moves the conflict from court to political arena, sparking a bitter fight over trade policy. The decision sets the stage for a polarized nation to watch the unfolding political battle. The Supreme Court's ruling didn't resolve the disagreement, it reignited it. The Supreme Court's landmark decision has triggered a massive financial reckoning, compelling the United States government to refund more than $100 billion in tariffs collected over recent years. This unprecedented move not only marks a significant shift in trade policy, but also places immense pressure on federal agencies to process and distribute these refunds efficiently and fairly. The administrative challenge ahead is daunting. Importers across the country are now preparing to file claims, each seeking to recover funds paid under the now invalidated tariffs. Government offices will be inundated with paperwork, and the process of verifying, approving, and issuing refunds could take months, if not years, to complete. While consumers won't see direct refund checks in their mailboxes, the hope is that businesses, relieved of the tariff burden, will pass on savings through lower prices, increased investments, or even expanded hiring. For many companies, this could mean a much-needed boost after years of navigating higher costs. The ruling's impact on inflation is especially significant. Tariffs had driven up the prices of everyday goods, from electronics to groceries, squeezing household budgets and fueling public frustration. Now, with tariffs set to be eliminated, there's cautious optimism that prices will gradually stabilize. However, the process of reducing costs and adjusting prices won't happen overnight. Supply chains are complex, and it will take time for the effects of tariff removal to ripple through the system and reach store shelves. Businesses, having spent years adapting to the tariff environment by shifting supply chains and renegotiating contracts, must now realign their strategies once again. This transition period will require careful planning and flexibility as companies adjust to the new trade landscape. The sudden removal of tariffs introduces a fresh wave of uncertainty into an already volatile economy. Markets may react unpredictably as investors and businesses try to anticipate the long-term effects of this dramatic policy reversal. Across the country, companies are being forced to reevaluate their operations and economic strategies. From supply chain logistics to pricing models, every aspect of business planning is now under review as leaders seek to navigate the new reality. The economic fallout from the Supreme Court's decision will be far-reaching, with consequences that may shape the U.S. economy for years to come. As the dust settles, both challenges and opportunities will emerge, testing the resilience and adaptability of American businesses and consumers alike. The Supreme Court's decision reverberates across continents, sending ripples through diplomatic circles and international markets alike. For many U.S. allies, the ruling brings a sense of relief, as it signals a potential return to more stable and predictable relations with Washington. Yet, the optimism is cautious. Leaders and analysts worldwide are aware that the path forward will require careful navigation and renewed dialogue. Countries like Canada and the European Union are among the first to welcome the decision, emphasizing the importance of reliable trade partnerships. Their leaders express hope that this marks the beginning of a new era, where economic cooperation can flourish without the constant threat of sudden policy shifts or tariffs. The ruling is widely interpreted as a step toward repairing alliances that have been tested in recent years. Diplomatic efforts are already underway to rebuild trust, with officials on both sides eager to restore the collaborative spirit that once defined transatlantic and Pacific partnerships. Global markets responded swiftly and positively. Export-oriented companies, especially those in manufacturing and technology, saw their stocks surge as investors anticipated renewed cross-border demand and fewer trade barriers. In China, the reaction is measured but significant. While officials acknowledge the economic benefits of reduced tensions, they remain mindful of ongoing geopolitical rivalries and the complexities of U.S.-China relations. The end of tariffs does not erase the underlying issues that have fueled trade disputes, but it does offer a much-needed opportunity for stability and renewed negotiation. Business leaders and analysts stress that vigilance and continued dialogue will be essential. The trade war forced companies worldwide to rethink their supply chains, leading to greater diversification and resilience. This experience has set a precedent, shaping how future trade policies will be crafted and how businesses will prepare for uncertainty. While the Supreme Court's decision calms immediate tensions and encourages optimism, experts caution that rebuilding a truly stable international framework will require sustained effort, compromise, and a willingness to address deeper structural challenges. The global trading system now faces the long-term task of restoring trust and cooperation among nations, a project that will demand patience, transparency, and a renewed commitment to shared prosperity. Beyond economics, the ruling has profound constitutional implications. Professor Mark Bush highlights its reaffirmation of Congress's trade authority. The decision curtails the trend of delegating trade power to the executive. It underscores that a president can't unilaterally rewrite tax codes under national emergencies. This reassertion of congressional authority may reshape future trade negotiations. Economically, the tariffs were flawed, taxing Americans and disrupting supply chains. The ruling forces a strategic pivot for the White House, limiting broad tariff actions. The administration must now engage in more traditional trade diplomacy. The decision marks a shift in U.S. trade policy, emphasizing constitutional checks and balances. The ruling is a political earthquake for Trump's presidency, dismantling a core policy. It challenges his America First ideology, leaving him politically exposed. With softening poll numbers and recent electoral losses, the decision fuels opponents' narratives. The ruling may embolden pro-business Republicans to challenge Trump's trade agenda. Trump is likely to rally his base, framing the decision as a betrayal by elites. The ruling alters the political landscape, shaping the remainder of Trump's term. The Supreme Court's decision closes a tumultuous chapter in U.S. economic history, opening a new one. The end of Trump's tariffs prompts a national debate on America's economic future. The White House faces logistical chaos and political battles over trade policy. Allies have an opportunity to re-engage with the U.S. and shape global trade. The decision offers a chance to repair alliances and address shared challenges. The world watches cautiously, aware of persistent political forces. The Supreme Court ruled on the law, but the American people will decide the policy's fate. The next chapter in U.S. trade policy is yet to be written.